Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Real Reds Talk. On today's show, we're going to be reflecting on what's been an awful season for Manchester United. We're going to be looking at key moments, certain turning points, the sacking of Ole, the appointment of Ralph, players down in tools, media sort of explosions, and basically just an overall opinion on what went down. So if you are watching this currently, hit that subscribe button on the right-hand side of the screen and like the video because it's going to get interesting. Joining me today, I almost have a full gang. Of course, I had to get them all in for the big review. So Sam, Shreyas, Savir, and Dan, how are you all doing? And how are you all doing? How are you all doing? How are you feeling after the end of the season? Anyone?
Awful. Shite season. Bad season. Hated it. But I'm all right. I'm good.
Usual positive self. Love it. Savir, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm glad it's over. But
yeah, finally made it. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. No comment from him. No comment. Yeah. He just said the exact same I get labeled negative. And he's like, yeah.
But Savir mixes it up sometimes. You know what I mean? It's always a bit of positivity in with it. So it's got a bit of a mixed recipe. Yours is just salt.
Have you watched the season? Have you seen it?
No, I know. I understand. Dan, been a while since we had you on, mate. How are you feeling? And how are you feeling now the season's ended?
Yeah, happy to be back and also happy that the bad days are gone and joining this one with the hope that good days are coming by.
Absolutely. I love it. Positive vibes there, Sam. Positive vibes he's got.
Dan had to take a holiday for 10 days because the season was that
bad. I don't blame him. Look how fresh he looks now. He's come back. Exactly. He's smiling. He's got that Miami shirt on. He's the business. He's looking happy. Good. Shreyas, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Keeping this season as a repressed memory. How are you doing, Nick? The only one
to ask me. I'm doing good. Thank you, Shreyas. Fuck yous all. Every single one of you is fuck yous all. I'm doing good.
This is from a man who almost bench Scholes on his prediction.
Oh, no, not almost. No. Scholes was in my squad. Go check it. Go watch it and let me know. He's in my squad.
It's a United fan channel.
Anyway, also as well, Adam, go fuck yourself. You're supposed to be on this show. I'm gonna put that out there so he knows.
I think he got too much abuse for his tash that he had going on. Yeah. So I think he couldn't.
He's in work, so I would say fair play, but who needs work in your life? Anyway, there's only one place to start, lads, and that is the summer transfer window. We just finished second in the league, obviously, from last season. Lost a disappointing Europa League final on penalties. Got to countless semi-finals, but just couldn't, take that extra step. We then bring in Jadon Sancho, who it felt like we were chasing for about a decade. Champions League Varane, of course, from Real Madrid, and then eventually the GOAT Cristiano Ronaldo. Was there anyone genuinely on this show right now who didn't think at the start of the season we was going to at least challenge for a title or do well in a cup? Before the season started, taking into consideration everything I said then, finishing second, getting to a final of a Europa League, was there anyone in here who thought, right, we're going to get even close to as bad as it's been this season? Anybody? Or was everyone on the same kind of page thinking?
I thought we'd win a trophy at least. I thought League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, some of that. I thought we'd win something.
Yeah. What about yourself, Savir? How was you feeling going into the season? Obviously seeing who we signed, adding that to the kind of team we had already. Was you optimistic?
Very. We finished second. We got to a final, the Europa League final. And we strengthened. We got a defender, central defender that we wanted. Central defender. Yeah. Jadon Sancho, we've been chasing. Cristiano Ronaldo with the goals. I mean, I don't think there's anyone. There's no pundit that'll come out and be like, oh, we thought, everyone, we all had, we're all positive. I didn't think we were going to win the league, but I thought, top four, would do it, would be very comfortable. So, yeah.
Judging last season as well, when we actually got to January, it was kind of in a bit of a title. Maybe it was a B-Tech title race, you can call it, but it was, we was at the top for about a month, I think, or something like that. And then City obviously ended up dipping us to it. But it just felt like going into it, Dan, we had all the right sort of, the right recipe, the right players, the right enthusiasm. But what about the manager? How was you feeling about the manager going? Because everything's easy in hindsight. We obviously got to the game. when that run of fixtures in November, which we're going to get into a little bit later on. But at the start of the season, were you confident with Ole? Because I can't really remember your thoughts on that, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the manager?
Yeah, I thought he may do well because last season without Ronaldo, Sancho, and Varane, he was able to get a second and final in the Europa League. But everything turned upside down, and it was very positive in the beginning. We had so many great players coming up, and the team was like the only position we were lacking was the central defensive midfielder. But we still thought that at least we could get something, maybe challenge for the title. But when the season started and the games coming up, and we just it never looked like we were so comfortable. I think the first game where we can think of is I think when Rangnick's first game with Crystal Palace. I think that was the only game where I could see that and thought that this team was supposed to play like this the whole season, but now at the middle of the season for only one game they played like that. But yeah, I think it then comes down to also the managers. Also, they have struggled to deal with the players we have, and with Oli, I think he was able to cope up with these players better than Ralph Rangnick, as it seems, because in the time of Oli, there hasn't been so much leaking from the dressing room. But after Oli has gone by, we have seen so many leaks, and the dressing room has gone like it has shattered all over the places, and everything was just like was shattered, and nothing was linked. So I think now this season with Ten Hag coming in, we have the hope that we needed the player management, which we were lacking in the last season, the season which has gone by. So I think the hope is there. I think we'll do good with under Ten Hag.
Yeah, we're gonna break down all that kind of stuff a little bit later on. Just sticking with the start of the season, Shreyas. Well, the signings in general that we made with Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo. How do you think they performed individually? Let's say give them a rank out of 10. What would you give them?
I think Varane, if I have to assess it according to the entire season, I would give him a 6. Whenever he's played for us, he's been solid for most of the times, except I guess a couple of games. But the only concern has been his injury record, because in the games where the big games like Liverpool and City and games like that, he has been missing for us, and we have paid the price for it as well, because our defense without him really looks open. And at that time when Oli was there, I think if Varane would have been there, maybe we wouldn't have lost that badly like the way we did. But I think his injury because of his injury record, I would give him a 6. And I think Jadon Sancho, on the basis of the entire season, I would give him a 6. The reason being, he did kick on when Rangnick came in and he got that game time, because when Oli was here, he didn't really get any game time. He wasn't actually there on the pitch. Oli stuck to his basic squad, the same paces week in and week out. And I think Sancho was also one of those players who were just able to get 10 or 15 odd minutes in a game, coming on like in the 80th or the 75th minute, which really didn't do any justice to him in getting any confidence. And I think under Rangnick, he's done really, really well, but it has been a little up and down for him under Rangnick as well. We've seen that he's tipped in a couple of games, then he's come back. But I think with more consistency and a better preseason, he would be, I think, one of the best players for us next season. And except that I think he was one of the most creative players for us this season during the end. And I think he deserves a 6. And I think Ronaldo definitely deserves a 9.5 or 10, I would say, because if we didn't have him, we would probably be lingering around the 14th or 13th position easily. I mean, the way we wouldn't even have made it outside of our Champions League group stage, because the games where, like the Atlanta and the Villarreal games, where we would have easily, lost those games, he converted both of those games into victories and scored an awful lot of goals in the Premier League as well. 18 goals in a team which practically doesn't create anything, where the team is, it's just 11 players with their own minds on a pitch, and still he's delivering 18 goals. scoring hat tricks against teams like Tottenham, who actually made it into the top 4 and were look really, really deadly with the trio of Kane, Kulusevski, and so on. So I think at the age he's come in and the way he has carried this team through the season, being, I would say, the only goal scorer practically that we had this season, because except that, no one really has, even I think made it to double digits when it comes to goal scoring. So I think it was good that we actually got him the way the season has transpired for us. So definitely he deserves a 9 or 10 in my opinion.
9 or 10. Would you guys agree with that, or does anyone want to come back to Shreyas on that? 6 for Jadon, 6 for Varane, 9 for Ronaldo. Would you agree with that?
I think for Jadon Sancho, I would give him a bit more because it was not his fault that he was not playing.
Yeah.
He was not given chance. Whenever he was given chance, he has played better than other players.
Yeah. It was a bit of a slow burn with Jadon though, wasn't it? I think up until...
Yeah, he always, sorry for calling you off there.
No, sweet.
Yeah, he always has that in, like, even in Bundesliga, like he always starts the season slow and then he picks up. But I'd give Varane a 4, and I'd give
4.
I'll give him a 4. I'll give Sancho a 5. I mean, because it was very underwhelming. Like,
wow,
we got him in to sort of, and even when he was fit, the Arsenal game, the 3-1 that we lost. I think it was the first one where him and someone else missed. Like, I can't give any defender more than 5. Any central,
I get it. I do get it, because our defensive record is awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah. So I can't give anyone more than 5, unfortunately. But for me, Varane 4, Sancho 5, and that's just across the board. So it's not just like I'm picking on.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick, just to add on that, the players we have bought in, I think the same amount of players we have lost as well in terms of form. If you consider Rashford is there, and we were not able to get most of Cavani as well. And there are some other players as well we didn't get as they were last season, Luke Shaw and other couple of players. So I think the amount of players we bought in, the same amount of players also we lost in their form as well.
Okay, interesting. But some mixed views there, but yeah, that's what football is all about. Different opinions. Let's take it to the start of the season then. So August fixtures. Just very quickly, who did we all have to win the league? Honestly, who did you think would win the league? Sam?
City.
Severe?
Between City and Liverpool.
Dan?
Yeah, Liverpool.
Shreyas?
City.
I actually had Chelsea. I thought Chelsea would win it. I thought they looked solid, especially last year after winning the Champions League. I thought defensively they were solid. Adding Lukaku to that, who I thought absolutely flopped. I thought they'd be dangerous, but just goes to show what can happen in the Premier League season.
I read somewhere that United were more days as compared to Liverpool. United were on top of the league.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in the first position we were on there for more days than Liverpool.
Yes, Liverpool never got to the top of the league during the season, did they?
No, they did. But we had
at
14
one point,
days.
wasn't it?
Yeah, at some point, but we were 14 days on top. We were the second, actually. It was City, us, Tottenham, Liverpool. I think Arsenal was like for a day or so.
Interesting. So we have our first game against bitter rival Leeds, who we usually get the better of. So it seemed kind of like the perfect storm for the first game at Old Trafford. Beat them 5-1. Pogba getting 4 assists. Bruno Fernandes getting a hat trick. Couldn't have gone any better. We draw at Southampton, beat Wolves in games that, weren't exactly convincing performance-wise, I'd say. You had Greenwood started bagging goals, looked like he could have moulded himself into that role, kind of the more he played, and Cavani was happy to be a regular feature as well. That all changed, of course, when we started hearing rumbles about Cristiano Ronaldo joining City. Everyone starts having a meltdown and losing the shit. They're like, surely not. He can't ruin his legacy, all that kind of stuff. And then, boom, we eventually get our romantic story. Cristiano returns to Old Trafford, scores a brace at Newcastle. We all start getting our hopes up and dream of big things. We sort of beat West Ham 2-1. So we took 13 points from 15, in a possible 15, should I say, in the first 5 games. At this point, I'm not sure if any of you remember, But can you remember how you was feeling at that time? I know it seems like a very long time ago, but after seeing Ronaldo kind of scoring that brace, as I've just said, 13 points from 15, surely in our mind now we're thinking something special might happen. Anything can happen with Ronaldo in the team, right? Yeah. Anyone?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to go to someone.
Wait for you to say someone. Yeah.
But anyone can jump in on that.
Yeah,
anyone.
I know, but there's so many people. I just didn't want to.
All right.
Well,
I'll start thinking. Go on, Sue.
Yeah, I'll quickly jump in. So I was one of the people who I was very cautious about. Well, I was cautiously optimistic about Ronaldo. Because we had a bit of a chemistry going with our forwards. And I was like, I hope he doesn't come on. So when he came in and scored against Leeds, it was Newcastle,
Newcastle.
After I saw that Newcastle performance, I was like, I'm sorry, I even doubted this guy. And then, so to answer your question, yes, I was very optimistic going forward from that point on, because like the momentum was with us. Everything just seemed great. So yes, I was very optimistic then.
Yeah. And at that point as well, Chelsea and Liverpool had the exact same start as us. So they had 13 points from 15. Their actual points dropping was against each other because they drew 1-1, if you remember that game. City were looking strong as well. And then there was kind of whispers in the media and stuff like that saying, top four. It's very early in the season, but, if you was to predict it now kind of thing, it'd be United, Liverpool, City, Chelsea. That's kind of how it was. Then we start to unravel, September, October, November, December, and they're the months I want to dig into now. We played Villa at Old Trafford. Does anyone remember who scored at the end of that game off a set piece?
Coutinho.
No, off a set piece.
It was the defender. It was a corner.
He did score in that game, did he?
No, I'm on about the first game. So in September, Coutinho wasn't even at.
I was at the stadium. I was at the ground.
Oh, was you?
For that game? Yeah, I was at the grounds for that game.
Oh, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Was it Arbani?
Oh my god, that was the worst. No, it was a defender. It was a central defender, some African guy, I think.
It was Conte. So
it wasn't Conte.
It was. Honestly,
you got it wrong. Whoever's...
No. Honestly, check it.
Couldn't have been Conte.
It
was like a cross. It was a corner.
From a set piece, Conte gets near the front post and heads it in. Honestly, check it whilst I'm thinking now if you want. But yeah, so it was a header from a corner in like the 88th minute, I think it was. Yeah. We drew to Everton. Do you remember Fred getting bullied off Damari Gray? And we were just like, why not take the yellow card there? Like, honestly, it was so bad. And then if Tom Davies would have had his head screwed on, we would have actually lost that game. If we just passed it across the box, Everton would have had another goal and we would have lost 2-1. We get embarrassed by Leicester 4-2. 5-0 loss against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Dominated 2-0 by City. And at this point now, everyone is pretty much screaming Ollie out. We all thought Ollie was going to go over the international break. Everyone calling for Conte, stuff like that. Who was you guys saying you wanted in?
It was Courtney House.
Courtney House?
Yeah.
Right, well, my bad. I hold my hands up if I got that wrong, but I'm sure whenever...
Courtney House, HAUSC. It was Courtney. It wasn't Conte, it was Courtney House.
My bad. When I was going through my team before, it said Conte at 88. I'm sure it did, so that's why it's written down. But if it was, then, fair enough. I hold my hands up. At the time when Ollie, was kind of on the verge of getting sacked during that international break, who did we all think was going to come in? Can you remember who you said?
Conte.
I think I said Conte as well. Available, there was rumours about it, but the board were kind of pulling back and forth, weren't they? Was you happy, Sam, with Conte?
I don't think there was anybody else, was there, really available?
I think no standout.
Wasn't Poch having like a thing with PSG at the time?
Yeah, there was rumours that they might try and get Poch, I think, and there was like
even Zidane,
stuff like that.
Zidane
as well was the other one, and then I think Conte picked up steam, did it, and it seemed like there's a possibility. Then out of nowhere, they went with Ralph Rangnick. And nobody called that. Nobody.
Well, we beat Tottenham, and then they sacked Nuno.
Yeah.
After we beat them 3-0, they then sacked Nuno and just acted really quickly, and then got Conte.
Yeah, because he called that match like the battle for Conte, wasn't it? So
whoever was going to lose, it was literally whoever lost that game was going to get the sack, basically. Yeah. Ole and Una, and then we beat them, and then they went for Conte, and I was like, wow, we missed something there.
But looking back on it now, I know that you know the kind of mainstream pundits like Gary Neville and people like that say Conte isn't the right guy for United. But looking at the issues on and off the pitch that we've seen, you know, throughout the full season, would Conte have done a job? Do you think? Do you think we'd be in top 4 right now if Conte came in the national break?
I don't think so.
Nobody. There's no manager. Bring back Ferguson at his absolute height. Nobody could have gotten anything out of these players.
Yeah.
Those players. Wow. Those players are, their mentality, their attitude is just absolutely stinking. And like Severe said, I don't care who. I don't Pep, Klopp, anybody. No one's getting a tune.
Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, couldn't snap his fingers and change.
That's 3 videos in a row with a Thanos reference.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Did someone say that before?
Yeah. So Adam said it as well in a few shows ago. But yeah, it's just a reoccurring thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure why the club kind of delayed it over the national period, but they did. Everyone was like, why have they not brought a new manager in? They stuck by Ole, was like, he's the right guy, and then we got absolutely slapped by Watford 4-1, and we're like, oh God. So yeah, Ollie leaves the club. Carrick takes charge, does okay. I think he played Arsenal, Chelsea, and Villarreal as well in the Champions League game. You know, sort of steadied the ship a little bit, did okay, but ultimately we knew someone else was going to come in. Rangnick becomes interim manager. Quite a shock for a lot of fans at the time. We all become an expert on German football and gegenpress and watching, you know, hour-long videos of Ralph giving his speeches and stuff. Now, the first 45 minutes of that Palace game, because for me personally, lads, when I was watching it, I was thinking, oh my God, like this is a transformation. They look completely different. The season saved. Like, I was getting really kind of sensationalist about it, especially when I look back at it now, I think, fucking hell, what was you doing, you idiot? But just off that first 45 minutes alone, Sam, I'll go to you on it. Was you very impressed by that? Because me personally, the pressing, how quick we was, how dynamic we was, first time passing, I was just like, what the fuck's going on here? We haven't seen this all season.
Yeah, I won't be claim to be an expert on Rangnick. Like most people online seem to, as soon as he came in, everybody seems to have been, oh yeah, followed him from Leipzig, and when he was at Moscow, I thought like, fuck off. No, you didn't. I knew nothing about Rangnick. Like absolutely, I knew his name, I knew basic, but I didn't know like much about him.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, when he came in as a manager, because obviously he's not managed for a while. So I was like, I don't know what this team's going to look like. Yeah. And like you said, they came out 45 minutes. I was like, Jesus Christ, if this is the effect he's had in, how long had he been in the job when Crystal Palace? It wasn't long, was it?
No, it's his first game.
No, but how long was he in the job before he came, like the game?
Well, I think he was at the Arsenal game.
Yeah, but he didn't take charge, did he?
No. Didn't take charge.
I think it was a week.
A week,
and a half.
It wasn't long.
Like a week. Yeah, a week, and he did that, and I was just like, "Is it 2
He had
weeks?
2. Do you remember? I think he had 2 training sessions.
Yeah,
2 training sessions. Yeah, I knew it was dead short.
I'm sure. I remember a conversation when he was saying he's had 20 minutes training. That was it.
It was there was because they had to rest after the Arsenal game or something. There was a rest, and then so he said he literally would have like 2 sessions or one and a half or something. Yeah.
And then they came out, and I was just like, geez, if that's the effect he's had, maybe we can turn this around. Maybe we can do something. And then obviously you just shit the bed in the second half and decided, it's too hard that running about, pressing, putting all this effort in, can't be bothered. And just gave it up in the second half, and then we haven't seen it since, really. Like since that half, really. And it's just
that's what as a football fan we wanted to see, because nobody remember or recognizes the scoreline on that match, but we always remember how they played. The possession was like 60 plus, and I think the chances
Palace created nothing.
More than
nothing.
Yeah, and also you know who scored in that game for United?
Fred
on his right foot as well.
It's like whenever Fred scores, whenever Fred scores, you know that you are playing really good.
He always makes a fool. He always makes a fool out of me, Fred, because I always like bust his balls for like the stuff he does, and then he does shit like that, and I'm just like, for fuck's sake, like
it's classic. It's classic Fred. Like he doesn't have like average games. He's either really really good or he's just rubbish.
But I will say one thing on Fred: his attitude and commitment, second to none. I've got no doubt in my mind. He is nowhere near one of the problems in that dressing room. So yeah, I'll always praise Fred for that, even though he is up and down in performance.
I was watching a video. I can't remember who it was. If I figure out, I'll name drop it. But they said like the players who have the passion and the commitment, the right attitude, don't have the necessarily technical ability, and then the players with the technical ability don't have the attitude and the mentality. That's where our team's at. Not Fred fits into the first category. Right mentality, right attitude, but hasn't got the technical ability.
Well, that's been like, I've been on shows with you all right, and it always comes back to this. We should be called Blended FC because we have players in every position where we've said it before in the news show, Dan, where we said you got Wan-Bissaka and Dalot. One's good at attacking, one's good at defending. We don't have one who's good at both. We have the keeper situation. De Gea, great shot stopper, but when it comes to commanding his box and distribution, he's not the best, whereas Dean Henderson's good at that. You've got McFred, who essentially I do one person's job. It's all over the pitch. You've got that all over it. Like if you could combine, say, Matic and McTominay, or Matic and Fred, let's say, for example, you'd have a really good DM there because you'd have Matic's head. He can read the game really well, but you'd have Fred's energy output and his, interceptions, all that kind of stuff. So we have that across the pitch completely. But yeah, let's carry on with the season review. So we get knocked out of both cup competitions. Carabao Cup, I think we got knocked out. Was it against West Ham?
Yeah, me and you were at that game.
Yeah, so they had a kind of completely changed team under Ole, won it, I think.
By the way, that was my girlfriend's first ever game at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
Not a great game to pick. And then we get knocked out of the FA Cup in that famous Middlesbrough game where the handball, handball, I mean, I don't want to drag on it for too long, but that was just absolutely ridiculous how they didn't give that. So yeah, we're knocked out of both cup competitions, and then we're kind of, clinging for Champions League. At that moment in time, what was we all say? Shreyas, what was you thinking about Champions League? Do you think we could go far in it? Do you think we'll just get knocked out straight away? Because obviously we qualified for the group stage, so.
I think what I had predicted was that the most that we could actually do would be the quarterfinals, because seeing that we were up against Atleti and the way we played, having to come at Old Trafford for them to actually seal the win, I thought that we could actually, turn it around a bit, at least get to Atleti to the quarters. And I actually predicted that maybe in the quarters we lose, but I was confident that, at least the round of 16, we can go through that. But the way it all happened, especially in, the second leg against Atletico, it was really, really frustrating as well. First of all, with the ref as well. But I mean, that's pretty much the way our season has been. And I would say, the referees haven't really been that kind to us. The decisions haven't been too kind to us. But our players,
100%.
the way they react to it, the way that they react to it on the pitch, that's something that hurts us more, because they spend over 30 to 35 seconds in a particular position this morning, and by the time they actually come to their senses, we are pretty much being hit on the counter attack. So that's something that hurts us a lot as well, because in that game as well, a couple of decisions didn't really go Atleti's side as well, but the way the players just they sprung up and went back running into their own box, that's where the discipline and that's where the morale of a team actually comes in, and that's where we actually lost that game, because we were just moaning about every single decision the ref made.
Well, I'm going to get into
Bruno Fernandes for a pure example.
We're going to get into that Champions League fixture a little bit later on, but as you remember, that ref in that game, I actually did pretty much a full show on him, because of the shocking performance he had in the game. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. But looking at the first 10 games Rangnick had in charge of the club, I'm sure pretty much all of us were saying most of them fixtures are winnable, right? When we was looking at Newcastle, obviously before they had the proper takeover, they had Norwich, I think, in the run. We had Wolves, Burnley, and maybe a few others. Didn't really go to plan in them games, looked a little bit shaky. He was still trying to play like the 4-2-2 in the Norwich game and the Newcastle, and they were creating like 10 chances in the first half. And you're like, how is this happening against teams that are literally like bottom of the table, like fighting for relegation? It was clear to me that he needed to change that formation up, because it just really was not working.
Why are you playing a 4-2-2 against teams that do a low block as well? Like it doesn't work. Like if you're playing a low block, you need some sort of width, and it's just too narrow. It's just fucking straight down the middle. You're just playing into their hands with the fucking low block. It's just I didn't understand it.
The thing about the
that time-
4-2-2 is that the two players outside, well, behind the striker operate like 2 10s. So, so basically in an ideal scenario, like we're supposed to be creating chances for fun, basically. And then it also relies on the fullbacks to push up.
Yeah.
You understand?
And with
so
the,
that's sorry, go on. Sorry. That's
with the type of players we had at that time.
Go on, someone just speak for the love of God.
You go first.
I'll just finish up. Yeah, that's what he did against Leipzig. You'd have the two fullbacks push up, and then, so it's playing a high line, but then the way they played it, like, Anyway, go on. Sorry.
I think that was the wrong decision to make and play that 4-2-2 because the type of plays you had, like you have so many wingers at that moment. It doesn't make sense that you play when you have around, I think, 4 to 5 wingers, proper wingers, and you are playing like a 4-2-2 with 2 cams in the team. So I think at that moment, none of the wingers were starting in those games when he tried to play 4-2-2. So it doesn't make sense. But I think at first time it worked out with the way we created so many chances, but then it really flopped again.
Yeah. I think as a manager going into a job, you want to kind of stick to your principles, don't you? And stick to your guns. But he knew he had to change that by like the Wolves game. I think he changed it to like a back 5 at halftime because Wolves were absolutely all over us. And then from then, I think in the Villa game, he started changing it a bit, changing it to like a 4-2-3-1 and started reverting kind of back to that formation, what the players were comfortable in. And it was just obviously weren't going to work. I think if he had a pre-season behind him to implement it, maybe it would have worked a little bit better. But of course, everything's easy in hindsight. But yeah, just during that period, sort of December and January, all that stuff started coming out. There was leaks in the dressing room. There was just, I'm not going to go through them all, but we all know exactly what I'm on about. And then New Year kind of comes. Elanga starts emerging into the team due to Rashford's poor form. How would you assess his time since he's kind of come into the team? Sam, I'll go to you on this. Anthony Elanga, has he impressed? I know he's had dips, but as a young player, that's kind of natural, isn't it?
Yeah. Just before we get on to Elanga, like you touched on January and stuff, obviously what came out later is Rangnick asked for a defensive midfielder and he asked for a striker, didn't he, in January? And he wasn't giving it. The board basically said no. Like he said in his press conference, I asked and they said no. He gave him examples, didn't he? He said Buba Kamara. He said who was the
Zakaria.
Zakaria. Like he mentioned top names and they just went no. Didn't give him a reason. Just said straight up no. I think he mentioned. Did he mention Darwin Núñez as well as a striker?
I don't know. I don't know about January. I didn't hear anything about that.
He did mention a striker, but I can't remember who he.
Potentially, yeah, they could have done, but
yeah. So obviously, you had like the rise of Anthony Elanga, who initially was really good, like breath of fresh air, quick, attacking minded, worked hard, plenty of energy, wanted to scored. He went on quite a bit of a scoring run, didn't he? He got like, what was it, sort of 4 in 5?
Well, I think his first goal was against Brentford, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But his first goal against Brentford, and then then it was like the odd game he was getting.
I had a lot of thing, but then I think again, like we seem to do this for a lot of young players. We seem to overplay them, and we seem to just rely.
We kind of like with the
much.
attackers that we had in our thing here, because obviously we let Martial go because he wanted to go out on loan. We let Ahmad go. Obviously, everything that happened with Greenwood, and then Cavani was just always injured. Rashford was in really poor form.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to like Rangnick was kind of like banking on him to be a winger, to be like a first team winger. And
we've done it with so many players like Twanzebe. He had that amazing night in Paris where he just basically looked like a world beater, and then we just played him, and he fell apart. And he played. Who was it? The following game,
Istanbul, where they had that set piece
awful.
and Demba Ba scored.
And it's what we do with young players. We just go, oh, he's really good. Let's just play him into the ground until he falls back. We did it with Rashford and Midtjylland and stuff. It's our thing. And then we played him, broke his back, broke his just ankle, shoulder. He's fallen apart in pieces, and we just rely on these young players. Whereas if we had squad depth and a bunch of players to pick from, we'd be like, all right, the manager, hopefully Ten Hag does this. He could look at the schedule and go, all right, they're the games that I'm going to bring in. Say, for example, Ghana. It's like, right, Ghana's going to play in these 5-6 games in the first couple of months. They're the games I've picked out for him. And then so you drip feed him in, and then the rest of the games you rely on your first team. And that's what's happened to Elanga. He's just been running to the ground. And youth players, they're like, I'm getting to play. It's awesome. But they don't manage or conserve their energy well because they're not used to it. They just like the first couple of games, they're just running on adrenaline because that's what they do.
With all like the praise you're getting as well at the time, at the time would have like, oh, new kid at United, like new exciting winger. Like
he's playing with Ronaldo. He's loving it and stuff, and then it just inevitably goes wrong because
adrenaline
it runs out the adrenaline. Tactically, players are just playing selfishly, so he's not getting enough support from the players around him. He's not playing with players that will support him. Like he doesn't know who's his right back is going to be half the time or his left back. Don't know who's behind him. Could be Tellez, could be Shaw, could be Wan-Bissaka, could be Dallo. Doesn't know. And it's just his confidence and his momentum gets ruined. But then he just keeps getting played. And then we end up with the season he's had where he had a really great start. And then just after that, it's just dips completely.
I think ultimately, if you do a full evaluation, I think it's fair to say the environment that he's sort of grew up in now, that he's like, since he's come into the first team, it's not been ideal for him at all.
No.
You see young players now when they come into City, like if you watch Cole Palmer when he was playing in the Champions League, or even Phil Foden was like an example I always use, they get fed into the team at the right moments, at the right times, and that's why they can develop naturally. Elanga was just chucked straight into the first team and was like, right, now you're a regular now, like you're going to have to maintain these levels. And it's hard for a young player, unless you're an absolute certified star, it's very rare when they will stay at the top level as soon as you come in as a youngster. Do you know what I mean?
There's only one I can think of. There's only one I can think of currently is Bellingham. He's the only one who 17, 18 is like, ball on.
Generational. Generational talents.
Yeah, but then look at the environment that Bellingham is playing in. Dortmund.
Good point.
Like, they've got like a proper system, a way of playing. There's a lot of belief in him. There's no negative. Well, the negativity, you can't compare. There's no toxic environment compared to how, it was here. The typical example I would give is Danny Welbeck. He's not a world beater, but remember he was just eased in by Fergie. We didn't just all of a sudden just chuck him in. Welbeck was literally just eased in. He'd come in, get a goal, score against Arsenal, scored really important goals against like top teams from the bench. So, and at the time we had a proper system. We had senior players around him that that he could rely on. There was no pressure, and then it was so much better. But with Elanga, it got to the point where we literally just had to, there was no one else we could play.
I agree.
We had to play this guy, and we had to rely on him. So it wasn't just us playing him; we had to rely on him. And if you look at the people behind him, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. But then one thing about him is the commitment. Like he's already working out now. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the picture.
Yeah, seen it.
He's back in the gym. Like, he's getting ready.
Shredded as well. Absolutely shredded.
He's back in the gym. So the commitment is there. But to answer your question, Nick, how would I rate him? I think, I think for given the circumstances, I think he's doing really well. Like he scored important goals for us. And I believe that Rangnick didn't just pick him because there was no one else to pick, but he listens to instructions. Typical example is before we played Atletico, I think there was an interview and they were asking him, and he was like, his manager told him, just run at the defender, just make something happen. So remember, he always used to get fouls for us. He's one of them people that was always productive. I think it went really well for him. Yeah,
off the ball as well. He grafts. He absolutely grafts, and that's what you need in that team because Rashford wasn't doing it. Rashford's obviously more, played a lot more games in Elanga and become like a first teamer. But that during the season, he was just awful off the ball. His discipline, his work rate was just poor, absolutely poor. And then Elanga coming in kind of freshened that up. And I thought personally, because all things considered, he did really well, and I'm looking forward to see how he does under Ten Hag. But just staying with January, Dan, I'll go to you on this. We let Martial go, Donny go, Ahmad go out on loan, but then deny the chance for Lingard to go Newcastle, which kind of created its own problems. We didn't sign anyone in the winter window, but would you have signed someone in January, knowing Rangnick wouldn't be in charge in the summer? I can't remember what your stance was on that. I think did you say you would have?
Yeah, I said I would have definitely got one CDM. because at that time, even I said that if the club is not willing to buy a defensive midfielder, then they are putting this Champions League on the line for the next season.
Yeah.
And we have seen as the season gone by that we have seen that we have lost all the battles in the midfield, and we needed the CDM so badly that I'm not sure why we as a fan we are able to see that we need a CDM, but still till this day there is no link or the strong link with any CDM till this day. I'm
Don't,
really
because
frustrated.
Sam will start crying. Don't mention DM because he'll start crying.
Dan, Dan, do you want another therapy session? Because I can organise one, mate. I'll bring the doctor back.
Even the last 10 days of my holidays have not brought me out of the CDM thing.
No. Maybe you need another 10 days, Dan. Get yourself off for another 10 days. You might feel a little bit better. But yeah, on the January window, lads, how was we feeling about that? Did you want to sign someone? Do you think it was necessary? Like I said, Rangnick was going in the summer. Was you happy to then bring someone in? Sam or Shreyas can take that one.
I think, in that January window, we didn't really need one. We actually needed two midfielders, because when Rangnick did come in and we saw how he wants to play, we all knew that this midfield isn't going to work for us. So obviously a CDM was really, really important, because we practically didn't have anyone to do that role for us consistently week in and week out. And at that time we were linked with Kamara, and I thought that, this player, he actually, could be the deal for us, because for me, it was a situation where I would say, of course, he's not going to be in the job next season, but even if someone else comes in, at least he will have one CDM to work with, because there is practically no CDM at this club right now. And at the time we could have had, Kamara or even Chumeni, if, the club would have been more into this. Yeah. And it was quite disappointing, because it was pretty much certain that if Rangnick didn't even get one player in this window, it was going to be a really tough job for him, because we didn't have any midfielder to rotate. We had McFred, and then we just had Matic. So it was just three midfielders in those two slots. And almost every game we would see at least one of them getting knackered by the 40th or 45th minute mark. And after the 60th minute mark, both of them used to fade out of the game. So it was looking really, really evident to, I think, every single United fan that we need not one but two midfielders, but that didn't work out. And I think the way we let our players leave as well, it was really, really hasty. The way we let go of Donny, the way we let go of Ahmad, the way we let go of Martial as well. Of course, Martial did want to leave, so I'm happy that he did.
Let's discuss that, Shreyas, because you mentioned, you bring up a good point there. Lingard, right? There was obviously some kind of confliction between Rangnick and the board there, because I think Rangnick said, yeah, I'm happy for him to go. But the board was saying, like, well, because everything that happened with Greenwood, you're kind of missing out on an attacker there. So was that the right thing to do?
No,
to keep him?
I think, no, definitely not. And that was the same statement I was going to make about Martial as well. You cannot have a player who doesn't want to play for you, because even if he is there, it's not going to make a big difference for us, because we've seen that even though we kept Lingard and he made like I think 5 or 6 appearances, he didn't really do anything in any of them. It never really looked like he was into the game. His head was always somewhere else, and he never impressed me. After that window, he never really impressed me, and it never really looked like he made a case for being a starter, because the way we were struggling to find that right winger for us, because Rashford dropped in form, Elanga was really, really young to throw in big derby games. So we needed, someone like Lingard to step up to at least show a little bit of consistency, so that we could say at least we can rotate Elanga out with him, so it's not too much for a young kid just coming in for Manchester United.
It's why they didn't keep Ahmad. Like,
exactly,
that's a winger there. Like,
yeah,
you can make money from Lingard as well. He doesn't want to be there. Like, he doesn't want to be there. Make some money from him. He's Newcastle.
We could have easily got 10 to 15 million for Lingard.
Make some money. Keep Ahmad at the thing. There's your option for your wing to change it up if you need something.
Yeah,
I don't understand why that was not an option. Why they were so insistent on Ahmad disappear, and then we keep Jesse Lingard, who doesn't want to be here.
Well, Surveyor, I want to bring you in on this because I know you're very calculated in your approach. And looking at the January window, do you agree with what the lads have been saying, or do you have a kind of different approach? Because for me personally, right, I'll just give you my opinion on it very quickly. I thought I didn't want him to just sign someone for the sake of it. I didn't want, because I knew Rangnick was going in the summer. I didn't want him just bringing someone in, and then by the time Ten Hag comes in, he's like, I don't like that player. And then we've got another player on a 3-year, 4-year contract on 100K a week, whatever it is, who we've got to sort out or try put out on loan or, you know, whatever. It could have gone well. He could have done well for the club and he could have stayed. I admit that could have happened. But for me personally, I didn't want to just sign someone for the sake of it. Also, with the Lingard situation, I kind of understand why the club would want him there because of everything that happened with Greenwood. He's an experienced player. As much as he wasn't playing well, he's experienced and he can take the pressure more than someone like an Ahmad. And Ahmad,
but he doesn't want to be there. You don't want.
I understand that. But at the same time, you can't just throw a young kid into that and expect, because then the pressure goes on his head, and then that destroys their development as well. We've just been talking about that with Elanga.
Why have a player at the club who doesn't want to be there?
Because you've got no one else. You've got no one else.
He's flirting with other clubs, saying, "Oh, I remember how good it was there," and pick.
Yeah, I know.
Like, don't have him here. Like, promote a youth player. Keep Ahmad. Do anybody.
Yeah. It could have been one of those things. Yeah, it could have been one of those things where Rangnick might have said to him, just give us this last couple of 6 months with us. Like, just stay the rest of the season. You're definitely going to go, but just stay for because we need you at this point. Now, I don't know what was said. I don't know what was said. I don't know if he was given any assurances that he was still going to play. From what I understand, he thought he could have gone. He thought that we were going to let him go. But then with everything that happened with Greenwood, and I think Rangnick said it as well, that meant he should stay. To answer your question, Nick, at the time, I didn't think us getting the player in general, I was fine with that decision of us not getting the player because, like you said, the new manager was going to come in at the end of the season. What was going to happen if we got a player that didn't, and we didn't know it was Ten Hag. The decision wasn't made on what manager was going to be there. Anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like we could have easily consulted with him saying, hey, we've got this dude, do you want it? Kind of thing. We didn't know who was going to be the manager. There was so much uncertainty. And we were kind of narrowing down the squad, shaving down the squad. So yes, I didn't really fuss too much when we didn't get a new player. I thought it was a gamble that was worth taking, in my opinion. I think it was worth the gamble at the time. You don't know who would have come in, and we don't know if, basically, I think we're linked to that Haidara guy, and he had a lot of hype around him at the time because he played in the Rangnick. It was one of those things where, I didn't stress about anything, about us not getting the player then. I was fine with the decision to not get anyone. We'd literally given up the season at that point with the whole, since Oli left and getting the new manager in. So we'd written it off, I think, at that point. So yeah,
you wasn't too fussed by it, basically.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't too fussed by it. But with Lingard, I understand. I understand what happened there. If Greenwood didn't have that thing, he would have gone. So
yeah. Also, I just want to say as well, we was looking at someone like a Dennis Sicario. He's only played 5 games for Juventus since he's gone there, and he's been injured as well. So you think if you would have brought someone like that into United, playing 5-6 games, injured for the rest of it, what would we all be sat here saying now? We'd be saying it's not worth spending 10 million on him. We've got another player on the wages, and that's another player who potentially we might have had to go out on loan or sell in January to add to the list of players that we've already got to sell.
That's a risk with all transfers, though. You're going to get that risk at any time when you buy a player. I think what's the rate? I think somebody brought the statistics. I think it's 40% of transfers are successful.
Yeah,
which is really low when you think
it's more of a risk in January when you're doing it that with a player like Sicario who's got a bad injury record.
But look what happened when we didn't buy anyone. It went to
no, but
shit,
I thought it would have been more of an issue if we had that Sicario to sell now in the summer or loan him out.
We're gonna play worse than we have since January.
But signing someone like that, spending money like that, and then adding someone onto the wage bill for say 100K, it adds a detrimental effect for the rest of the squad.
It could have been somebody else. It could have been Kamada. It could have been anybody.
Yeah, but that's why. Go on, Survey.
But then, Sam, if you think about it, that's why we've ended up now with a midfield that has zero chemistry. I mean, we have McTominay, Fred, Matic, Pogba. where is the chemistry there? Because
Zero.
we've all, Pogba is Mourinho's player. Pogba and Fred are Mourinho's players. Yeah. Well, all of them, I think. And he actually
Matic as well.
Matic and Mourinho brought in.
But they don't look like
Mourinho
it.
Mourinho gave McTominay his
debut.
But then the thing about Mourinho, we all know this thing about him. He's not a long term. He doesn't think long. He's very, bring this player in now for success now. Yeah. Like there's no long term thing. So we just ended up with a bunch of man. Who knows if this guy came in, that would have been another midfielder that would have to sell. Because basically, in my opinion, right now, the whole midfield needs to. I know we can't sell all of them now, but for us to get any kind of chemistry, any kind of cohesion within the team, we have, I'd be happy to see all of them go.
Well, look, all the teams around us are strengthening the midfield already. All the good players are gone. Yeah. Like Kamara has gone to Villa. Tchouaméni's going to Real Madrid more than likely. All these midfielders are going like that, and it's like
Neves is probably going to Barcelona as well.
There you go.
But I think I only think Neves will go to Barcelona if we get De Jong. I don't think they'll buy Neves if they keep all the De Jong.
I'm so sick of De Jong.
But let me just the fact we're not
just sign a defensive midfielder. Stop fucking looking at De Jong. Why are we doing this?
I think it's crazy that. I was listening to Goldbridge this morning. I was listening to Romano as well, and they was talking that they want 4 players basically. They want a centre back, they want a midfielder, they want a striker, and they want a right back or a wing back. Let's say, for example,
or full back, yeah.
And the centre mid that they get isn't necessarily going to be like a 6. It can be like a De Jong.
Oh,
so then, what do you do for next season?
Hell.
You got Bruno coming back. You can't play a midfield of De Jong, Donny, and Bruno in the Prem. In my opinion, I don't think that would work at all because De Jong is a ball carrier. He's not like a destroyer. He's not a 6. In my opinion. So I don't get how that would work. They'd obviously have to go back with Fred or Scott again for another season. I don't think United fans can take that.
Unless
Scott McTominay for a season in fucking at number 6.
God.
Unless he's trying to play Timber as a
DM.
As a center, as a DM. Yeah. But then here's the thing about Ten Hag. He also plays the 4-2-3-1 at Arsenal. Yeah. But the thing is, it actually turns into a 4-3-3.
At where, sorry? Did he just say Arsenal?
Did he manage Arsenal?
Ajax.
He just said Arsenal.
Did I say Arsenal? Oh,
he said
Arsenal on his brain.
He's got it on the head.
Oh, man.
Played 4-2-3-1 at Arsenal.
I'm waiting to get to that point because Arsenal literally saved my season. Like, thank God for Arsenal.
He hates
every year.
Hates Arsenal.
They always come through for me. Like I've been, I love it. Absolutely. Anyway, yeah. But then it's basically unless he's going to play Jurriën Timber as a defensive
DM. Yeah.
I'm with you, Sam. I don't like the whole De Jong thing, but I get it. I know what he's trying to do with De Jong. He needs someone to bring that ball up from.
Just bring some fucking quality.
Yeah, he's going to drop in and then bring the ball up, and then he'll have people around him to sort of shield him. And then one of the defenders or the right back actually goes into the midfield. That's the way Ajax kind of play. Yeah. So I don't know if but I get it. I was like, oh no, like for me, when I heard Kamara was going to Aston Villa and Neves is going, I'm happy. Like I'm tired of big names. I want us to make a shrewd signing. Like look at Liverpool's squad.
Kamara was there. Free transfer.
Who's like the massive signing there? Like they go out and get shrewd players. They go out and get players to actually just do a job. I'm sick of all the, let's go and get, what's his name? Calvin Phillips or get Neves.
Declan Rice.
Yeah, Declan. Yeah. Don't mention Declan Rice.
Careful. Don't mention Pops. Don't mention Declan Rice. And don't mention Kane. But yeah, I was saying a few months ago, Savir, when we was on a show together, I said, I think going into this transfer market now, versatility is going to be key. Buying players. So someone like Timber, who you mentioned then, he could play centre-back, he could play DM, and he can play right-back. Because you can't stretch all them signings out. You can't bring in 6, 7, 8 players. You're going to have to bring in players like Nkunku, like Timber, players like this who can play multiple positions, so you've got cover for that. I think naturally that's the route that they should take.
It's still just baffling. Like I know I keep mentioning his name, but like Villa have snapped Kamara up on a free like that. Like he would like you don't want to spend money. So there's a defensive midfield there for free.
Yeah,
Is it free?
It'll always be a
it's free.
Yeah.
It's a free hit. Like even if it don't work out, you got him for free. Fuck it, sell him on. You make some money. Like I don't.
Dan, I want to bring you on this as well, the De Jong situation. What are your thoughts on this? Because we haven't spoke about De Jong. I know we've had the odd message in WhatsApp and stuff, but what do you think about the midfield situation? And then I'll get back to sort of the rest of the season in a sec.
Yeah, actually, I'll stick to my own point about this one. If we are going for any midfielder, let's go for CDM, because CM, I can see that there are so many rumors we are linked to CM, De Jong, and I think another one was
Neves. You've got Neves. Who else do you say then?
Milinkovic, Savic.
Oh, Savic as well, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's going to be the new Wesley Sneijder, that, isn't it?
It already is. Yeah. We've been linked with Savic since Mourinho days for ages.
Yeah, I'm not liking this idea of going for a CM, because next season you're getting Donny van de Beek back, and you know that even Ten Hag knows how to use him. So I think we can risk one more season in that area of CM, because he can use Donny van de Beek in that position. So I think we should be going for CDM, and that's where this point of Zakaria comes into my mind, that we could have spent 5 million. I think he was available for 4 to 5 million, and he actually played around more than somewhere around 10 to 11 games for Juventus, I think. So if we would have used him for 9 to 10 games, he would have made difference in at least 3 to 4 games, and we could have a better chance of maybe qualifying for the Champions League. And 5 million is nothing in today's day. But, we could have even given Matic in return to them. So so I think we risked it, and now we are where we are because of
paying the price.
Decisions we have made, wrong decisions. But I never liked this idea of going for a CM first, and that too for 70-80 millions. If you are going to spend on that, when where we need to be spent on centre back and the defensive midfielder, and maybe a striker also. Yeah.
I just think if you look at all the teams that are successful at the minute, winning league titles, doing well in Europe, every single one of them have a class DM. Every single one of them. Yeah. Bayern Munich, Kimmich, Real Madrid, Casemiro, City, Rodri, Liverpool, Fabinho. They all have a world-class DM. We haven't got anyone near that level, anyone at all. So why would you go into transfer window and not buy one? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. But we've gone off on a bit of a tangent there.
Sorry, just one more thing. One more quick thing. The thing about this De Jong thing is like, it's not like it was a target that we identified sometime, like for like a year or something. It's like, oh, he's available, so then let's go for it. It's like Barca want to sell.
I get it. So
so that's another thing that doesn't fill me with confidence. Like, he doesn't seem like it's part of a plan.
I don't feel like he wants to come either.
He doesn't even want to come.
No, I feel like because he said before he wants Champions League football. He loves playing for Barcelona. So we're begging a player to come who we don't even necessarily need in that position, and we're going to end up paying 70 million. Have we not done this before? Have we not been down this road before?
Severe's just trying to get a clip out of me here, isn't he? He's just prodding me with a stick continuously.
We'll get one. We'll get one by the end of the show, surely.
Like I lost my shit on the last time we were talking about this, and I think I said fuck about God knows how many times, about 30 times during that clip.
Right, let's take your mind. Go on.
Even our club, people don't know how to sell their project as well. Because last time, I think Arsenal, they were able to get Gabriel. I think even we were in the race for Gabriel, and they sold their project. And even Thomas Partey was there. Thomas Partey, he was playing in Champions League, and they were not. Arsenal were not. I'm not sure how they are able to sell the project. Even Aston Villa, they have bought so many players, and Newcastle, they are still not in any of the leagues. But still, they are able to sell the project and get quality players. But in our case, nobody wants to come to our club.
Nobody at all. Not even free transfers. Okay, now. January transfer window is closed. That's done. We head into February. We've obviously qualified for the last 16. We get Atletico Madrid over 2 games. Get knocked out over 2 games that were just
one of the worst games I've ever had to
God,
watch.
they were awful.
Honest to God.
Absolutely awful. The reffing, I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could for the life of me, but what a twat he was. He was just the worst ref I've ever seen in my life. And he got done for corruption as well. So fuck you, ref, who I can't remember his name, but yeah, wasn't a fan of him. So we're knocked out of the Champions League. We get to the back end of Feb. We have that famous 0-0 draw against Watford. I think we all remember where we had about 35 chances and just could not score at all. Ronaldo missing. Did Ronaldo miss a penalty in that game?
Yeah, Bruno hit the post twice as well.
I think the keeper rolled it out to him or something like that, and he intercepted it and just hit the post. I was just like, what is going on? We could have been on that pitch that day for about 20,000 minutes and still not scored. Like, it was just one of them games. So that was awful to watch. Then we've got kind of March up until the back end of the season. We get slapped again off City 4-1 at the Etihad. What disappointed you guys about that game, if you can remember it? Because obviously the one thing that stuck out for me was the Rashford and Lingard cameos when they came on as subs, and they did fuck all. I think they came on for about 15 minutes.
Pogba and Bruno up front.
And then, Bruno and like them two as false nines where it didn't really. And I thought the first half it was okay. Was that the one where Jadon Sancho scored? I keep
he scored that goal.
Yeah, so the first half I was like, it's not bad, it's 2-1, we're still kind of in the game. And then the second half, it was just like, what are you thinking, Nick? We got absolutely
in that game, at least in the first half, we were able to compete with them at a certain level. But in the second half, I still remember that for the last 20 to 25 minutes, City had 96% possession. So we didn't even touch the ball once in that entire time.
I don't remember getting in their half in the second half. I don't think.
As the game got on, the stats just got so bad. It got it was getting ridiculous towards the last 15 minutes, as you said. Then with like 96% possession, the players were nowhere near it, and that's why I'm saying you had fresh players coming on in Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford, and they had zero. They had no impact at all, like nothing. And I just remember watching it thinking, like, we are so fucked. We are absolutely fucked.
That speaks volumes of the environment at the time. Because don't forget, these are the same two guys who scored in the fixture last year.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Well, no. Rashford didn't score.
Rashford did.
That scored. It was Lingard and Martial, I think, that scored when we played them.
One was a chip, wasn't it? From Bruno to Martial. Is that right?
Martial. Yes, because we scored really. I think it was the Lingard one. I remember Martial's goal. It was literally squeezed it into the corner. Well, basically, I think what I'm trying to say is like it's a testament to what was actually happening in the back scenes, because I've never seen these guys. These guys are like from our academy. Like they've never won another shirt before. Like, these are the guys who used to come out and kill for us.
Yeah, exactly.
But in that game, like, you could just see the motivation was gone. Everything else was just gone, and
non-existent.
I'm gonna touch on something at the end, but I'll let you go. Like, at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, in that game, I think we played false nine with Bruno Fernandes.
Pogba.
Yeah, Pogba.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And another thing I've noticed is one thing that we've lost. I think Ronaldo wasn't there. It only happened when Ronaldo was on the pitch. Was we never seem to have this fighting spirit. Like, once we go down. That's exactly. You could just see like everyone's shoulders just drops, and
that was the one positive thing under Ollie.
I was just about to say that.
If we went a couple of goals down, I was never worried. I was always like, we're gonna come back. We're gonna score some goals, and we might win this game.
But that happened all the time. We would go down, and we knew like second half we'd bring it back, but it took us to go down in order to do that. To produce a performance.
Yeah, once Ollie started going, that stopped happening. And then we just, like Severe said, we've lost that fighting spirit. Yeah. Like, I remember, I think I've said it several times on the show, the Liverpool game, when I can't remember, I think it was somebody was getting shoved. I think it might have been Elanga or something. They were getting shoved and picked on by like Van Dijk and stuff. And the only two players who came up and helped him out was Cavani and Fred. That was it. All the other players, Harry Maguire walked away, like, Rashford walked where they all fucked off and just left it. There was no fight. It was like, and then like Hannibal came on and fucking two-footed Henderson in the second game. It's like they're the only players who had any fight in the thing. Like, if that was Fergie's days and stuff like that, do you know how many players would be kicking off and
None of them
fighting
were on the
Jordan
pitch.
Henderson and fighting Van Dijk and stuff, you'd be like lining up. The referees would have to come on and separate them.
Well, just listen to the people who have ties within the club, have friends, journalists who speak to the club and stuff. He said, like, people like Gary Neville have said that dressing room is toxic, like more than people know. It is so
said it,
broken.
didn't he said it on things. Said Jesse Lingard told him. He said the dressing room is broken. Yeah,
it's broken beyond belief. And that's so noticeable. And that City game, especially with the subs and stuff, highlighted that for me. We had a bit of a high with Ronaldo against Spurs. I think we remember the hat trick, don't we?
Yeah.
That was it. His second goal where it was just rifled in the top corner. Or was that his first one? Either way,
the second one.
His first one. His first one was the first one. Yeah, the first one was the banger. The second one was Sancho laid it off for him, and the third one was the header.
Yeah. So we had that hat trick. He kind of brought us a little bit of joy during that depressing period. Then we had a boring draw against Leicester, the 1-1.
Just to cut out you there, I think that game was before the Champions League game, Tottenham.
The Tottenham one.
Just before that game.
Yeah. So
I don't remember the Leicester game. Like, that's how bad it was.
Yeah,
I don't remember anything from it.
It was awful.
Nothing.
Yeah, and Leicester probably deserved to win that game as well. Another one. So yeah, then the cracks were really starting to show. Then look at our kind of fixtures towards the end of the season, lads. We get beat off. These stats are damning. So we get beat off Everton, Arsenal, Brighton, and Palace towards the back end of the season, only scoring 1 goal in all of them games and conceding 9 against them. Like, it's just like, I remember under Ole, when against Huddersfield and Cardiff.
I was going to say the Scousers are in there as well.
Yes, Liverpool as well, obviously. Yeah, I remember under Ole when it was like, with Huddersfield and Cardiff, where it was just like shocking towards the end. But that is even worse. Only scoring 1 goal and conceding 9 against Everton, who were fighting for relegation at the time. We got beat 1-0. I think it was in Ireland for that game, actually. We got beat 1-0 off him.
Yeah.
Arsenal, who can't hold a fucking win together to save their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a team that fumbles it every fucking
the Arsenal
week.
Game, like they couldn't believe the luck that they had. Like, they were shocked. Like, Arsenal was, Arsenal, they were scared. Like, they couldn't believe it. And then, like, because
in that game, the defense was shambolic. It was nowhere near.
Arsenal were there for, like, they were scared as fuck. Like, I had this. I've got like a group with me on, like, so I'm the only United fan there, and there's 3 other Arsenal fans. Like, always giving it, and like they were.
I see the origin now of why Severe hates Arsenal.
Just getting abuse on a daily basis.
It goes way back. Like, anyway, like they were literally, like, even after the game, like, they couldn't believe that they actually won. Like,
Yeah.
And just one more thing about when we're talking about the City game, the Liverpool game. Do you remember? Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but like when we were like on our hiatus, at the top, and Liverpool was really crap. Even then, when we played them, they would come to that was the only game they cared about. Like, even if you're going to lose, right? Come and fight.
Yeah.
Do you understand? When Van Gaal was there, maybe this is a little bit more recent for you guys. Remember, we beat them home and away like 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
But it was never like we came and steamrolled them. Like, they would, they'd be like an yellow card, red card. Listen, they would make it nasty. When our team bus, remember when they shattered our team bus at Anfield? Yeah, just nothing, no fight, nothing. We just literally just lay there, just go gangbang. Basically.
Yeah. But
they should have streamed that on Pornhub or something.
but they'd have to like put I know they don't put any like age warnings on Pornhub, but they'd have to put one on that. Just be like, by the way, this is extreme,
bro. That
not
was
for the faint-hearted.
When the second goal, no, was the third goal when Van Dijk was playing 10, basically.
Yeah.
Van Dijk was playmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
And literally, and I was like, this is like, I couldn't take it. Like, so
he was playing 1-2 with the striker.
That's why I love. I have a new respect for Hannibal. Like, he came in and
just show something. Just fucking
take a leg,
hit someone. Like, that's all the fans want when it gets to that point.
If Garnacho came on in that game and got red carded, I'd be like, yes, well done, mate. Fucking well done.
Because it gets to a point, really, as a fan, it's desperation where you just want to see something. You want to see someone have a bit of attitude, a bit of grit. But that's the theme, lads, for like the full season. We haven't seen that all season. You can go back to 9, 10, a lot of games where we haven't shown that at all. And yeah, the end of the season, as we know, was fucking horrific. We end up in the Europa League, but not even because we earned it, because West Ham
was shit.
Brighton
that's the only
United.
reason why we're not in the Conference League right now. It's honestly, that's the only reason. And for me, that has to go down as the worst season in Premier League history for United.
Zero goal difference.
0 goal difference for a Manchester United team. It's crazy.
Bro, this was relegation. This was relegation form. We've conceded more goals than Burnley.
It's crazy. And I think David De Gea conceded the most shots in the league, didn't he, as well?
Yeah.
This is relegation form, basically. Like, if the league would carry on for another couple of, bro, would be battling.
Ronaldo is the only reason we even made it to Europa League. He's the only reason.
I was just about to mention that because there's a lot of back and forth with Ronaldo. Obviously, Jamie Carragher going on about it, and I get some of the points he's saying. But if we wouldn't have had Ronaldo this season, we'd have stuck with Cavani and Greenwood. Obviously, Greenwood fucked off because of what he did. And then you got Cavani, who's so injury prone this season. Who would you have played up top? Who? Rashford?
That's not going to go well, is it?
Yeah, it would have been Pogba and Bruno up top, honest. And then Pogba's had his injury issues and stuff. So it makes me think
you'd be relying on like Charlie Savage and stuff like that, wouldn't you?
You'd have to bring a youngster.
That's what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
Joe Hugo.
Yeah. Joe Hugo is our main number 9 for the 6 months. It's like,
if you take out Ronaldo's numbers this season, we would have just scored 37 goals in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
But so there's 2 things for me with Ronaldo, and then I'll finish it quickly with some fire questions. Ronaldo, I get the things he had an effect on a lot of players when he came in. So I think Bruno, because Bruno kind of looked up to him, and then as soon as Ronaldo comes, he becomes the main man. I think that had a slight effect on Bruno. I think Cavani committing to stay, which we've had a discussion before, Sam. I think Cavani committing to stay because he really wanted to go back to South America, but he said, you know what, I'll stay because you need me. He stayed, and then the end of August, we signed Ronaldo, and he's kind of like, what the fuck? What's the point? Like, what's the point in me signing? Because he's going to be the main man. I'm going to be a sub cameo at best. You still had Greenwood at that time. So I think that had an effect on that. I just think it had an effect on Maguire, definitely, with the captaincy thing, because you've got a man coming in who's won everything, 5 Ballon d'Ors. You've got a guy who's been demoted 3 times, who's a captain. Naturally, there's going to be some back and forth there. So I do think that it kind of had an effect on a few things within the team. However, as we just said then, if he wasn't in the team, I dread to think where we'd be. Honestly, I really do. Like
playing Grimsby away next season is where we would be.
We're traveling up to Luton, let's go. Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's on the players. That's not on Ronaldo.
Of course.
That's on the players. That's not on Ronaldo. Like, everyone was talking about, when he came in, like, I was one of the people who was like, man, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure how he's gonna, because there were some games that it seemed like we were playing like 9 against 11 because of him. Yeah. But as the season went on, like, I have a newfound respect.
Definitely.
For Ronaldo.
At the age of 37 to get them numbers.
Yeah.
I said to
it's not even about the goals. It's about how, when Carrick's first game was against Villarreal, was it?
Yeah, potentially. Villarreal, Arsenal, and Chelsea then.
When we played the 4-4-2, you could see Ronaldo chasing back, giving instructions like, yo, go, and everything. Then the game against Chelsea, when we played the 1-1, like, that was, this guy chased the ball. I've never seen him work so hard. Like, so it's not even about the goals, but he was an example of a complete professional.
It's the standard. His standard is up here, and then all the rest of the players were like down here.
I think this is a guy with pride. Do you understand? So, like, he could easily have thrown his hands up, like, this is not what I was promised. I wasn't promised. Yeah. Like, he could have thrown his toes out the pram, but he stood there. He was basically an example of how, and anyone who didn't follow his example, they have themselves to blame. But if Ronaldo is coming into the team and people are upset, that's on them. Like, that has nothing to do with him.
There's one thing that sticks in my head. There was an interview that he did. I can't remember who it was with, but they were asking him, saying, like, are you just moving for money? Are you just doing it for that? And he's like, listen, if I'm going to move for money, I'll go to Qatar and play over there and earn $500,000 a week or whatever. I do it for pride and passion. To choose City over United at that point, a lot of people would say, well, obviously it's United or whatever, blah, blah, but he could have gone to that City team and
easy.
The numbers he's put in for us, imagine what he would have got for City. And imagine how more painful that would have been.
But if he went to City, he'd probably break his record that he did at ours.
I think, honestly, they could have won the Champions League if they had Ronaldo in there. I think it takes a player like that to be in that team.
I think if you put Ronaldo in any of those top 3 sides, they win the league as well as the Premier League
because he scores and big goals.
Exactly. And one of the reasons why Chelsea has struggled a lot this season is because Lukaku has failed for them, and Tuchel doesn't really trust Werner that much.
Werner can't hit a barn door if he tried.
Yeah. And for Chelsea, this season, it never has been a problem that they aren't able to, really create any chances. It's always been the issue that they can't really convert, be clinical and finish them off. And if you put Ronaldo in that Chelsea side, they're winning the Champions League and the Premier League. No doubt about it.
I think Chelsea seems to have signed Lukaku from United, unfortunately for them. Yeah. That's what it seems like. But yeah, just on Ronaldo. So I'll throw some quick fire questions at you, and then we can finish the show. So yeah, sticking with Ronaldo, will he replicate what he's done this season next season? Just a quick answer from you.
I think we can. Yeah, I think he'll do much better. I think
he'll do better.
Yeah,
that'd be at the age of 30 because he'll be 38.
Well, this is what everyone said, Nick. He's 37.
Yeah,
this is exactly
I know. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
The dude is a machine.
This is what everybody was saying. Oh, he's 37.
I think why I'm saying this is I think he has a much bigger point to prove next season than he had this season because he's staying here. I think he has a bigger point to prove next season.
He wants to win something, doesn't he? Exactly. Like, you can just tell. To sign off, he needs to win something with United because I think he's already a legend anyway. Of course, he's one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest to ever step on a football pitch. But to really cement like his legacy forever, if he was to win something with Manchester United, to come back from the season we've had this season to next season, honestly, he'd go down as just like there's no one near that level. No one near.
I will say this though, whether or not he will replicate the goals, I can't tell. But I know for a fact that he will put in more, like the efforts he will put in will be more than what he's given us this season. And for me, that's enough. That's what I want to see. And hopefully, we don't even need him to score all the goals. Hopefully, if we have a few signings, we have a manager, man, all he needs to do is he'll be chilling, like relax, calm.
That's literally what I've been saying to Nick all season. I'm like, do you know when he was like going out left to try and find the ball or like come back and say, literally just stay in the box, just stay there, and we'll get the ball to you. Just literally stay there. He'll score goals. That'd be it.
Yeah, honestly. So I think you bring in a few more quality players around him. He's surely it's only going to elevate it. Just seen Zlatan Ibrahimovic win Serie A at the age of 40
with no ACL.
Yeah, there's no reason why he can't win at least a cup with United before he goes. I think that'd be the perfect send off for him before he goes to. I don't know.
Look at that AC Milan midfield. Benazir, Nketiah. Sorry, not Nketiah.
Yes! Finally!
It's infected everyone.
Oh my God.
Nick, you can't mock me anymore. This is severe now. This is all severe.
You've got Benazir, Kessie, and Sandro. So Benazir and Kessie, they've got like two absolute wolves. Like they hunt in packs, basically. Like, and then Sandro is just, what's it? Is it Sandro?
Yeah.
Tonali. Sandro Tonali. Sorry, yeah. Easy. He's Pirlo reincarnated. You understand?
Careful.
He sees.
He's good.
Bro, he's on his way.
He's on his way.
He's on his way.
His ability on the ball and his passing range as well. It's
IQ.
Intelligence. Football IQ is out of this world. So Zlatan, he's chilling. He's calm.
That's why I'm saying it with Ronaldo. You're saying Ronaldo can just kind of, you know what I mean? But you need that leader in there. He's important for next season because, like Sam said before, he sets the standards, and you need a guy like that in the dressing room, 100%. Another quick fire question. Apart from the obvious, we've just been discussing Ronaldo. Is anyone who stood out for you this season who you thought deserves a bit of praise, but maybe hasn't got it?
There's literally nobody in the team.
Just the hair.
It has been anything short of like the best in the team is average. That's the best rating somebody in the team. Like Sancho reached average. He reached what I thought would be his first season. Maybe a little less, to be honest. Maybe below average for Sancho. Everybody else.
I thought before he got ill with
poor.
his tonsillitis and stuff, I thought he was getting better and better.
He was
every
on
time
the
I watched
way.
him.
He was on the way, but he wasn't anywhere near the Dortmund Sancho. Like, and everybody else was piss poor. Like, name me a player who was good. Luke Shaw, piss poor.
Well, it depends what part of the season you're talking about, because
Wan-Bissaka, piss poor. Alex Telles, shite.
I think players had the moments during the season where they kind of thinking, like Bruno at the start of the season, it was okay, did well. He was assisting in the Champions League, got top assist.
Dalot in the middle.
Dalot, when Rangnick first came in, the first sort of 10 games looked decent, but then it's consistency. It always comes back to consistency.
There's nobody was Ronaldo aside, nobody was consistent.
Yeah,
not a single player.
Here's a good question for you: who was the worst this season? Let's go through it.
Just the easy target is to say Barry, isn't it? That's the easy option. The easy option to go is to go to Barry.
Yeah,
but like arguably, he's got to be someone like Rashford.
Yeah, we call Harry Maguire Barry. Barry Maguire. Yeah.
Barry.
Thinking, we got a youth player called Barry.
When did he start playing for us?
Yeah, and first of all, a youngster called Barry. Who's naming a kid Barry these days? Like, I can't see it.
It's only young players, Barry and Keith.
Yeah, Barry, Keith, Ethel was in the back.
I think Rashford's got to be the worst, hasn't he? He's been on another level of
if we was to crown the worst player of the season, would we give it Rashford?
For me. Rashford would be mine.
Dan?
Pick.
Yeah?
Rashford. Yeah.
It's got to be on it. Like, his downfall this season's just been unexplainable. Crazy. Will we see a lot more youth next season, do you think?
Hope so.
I think, so. I mean, the way we got the transfer budget and the number of positions that we got to fill in, I think he has to chuck in some youth players in order to fill up those spaces, because we've got, I think in double digits that the players are going to be leaving for us in the coming time, especially in the coming windows. So I think he has to, especially players like Ghana. I'm glad that we have players like Ghana, who are actually doing really, really well on these loan spells, because at least, we can say that we've got someone on the bench who we can pretty much rely on, who is actually, hungry as well to get in some minutes. And another good thing is Sam, stadium as well.
So it's tickled Dan, and I want to know what it is.
Is he done an Adam?
He's done an Adam.
Something in his head is gone, and he's
something's. Dan,
when you talk about youth players, the very first name comes into my mind is Shorty.
Oh,
Shorty.
Yeah, shoulder shorty. Love it. Fair enough. You'll get a pass for that. Usually with Adam, it's something just completely out of the way.
It's funny, like when it happens with Adam, you can, like, if you just skip back about 2 minutes, you start seeing his mind.
Yeah.
You see the thought develop in his head,
and you see a smile progressively
take
go
over his
that.
face, and then he just starts like.
Yeah,
it's like the Joker. Like, he just suddenly all of a sudden just this smile creeps onto his face.
So sorry, Shreyas, you want to finish on anything then? I interrupted you.
I think with the youth we are still in a good position, because most of them are on, they're coming off from some good form. You mentioned Ghana, who's pulled off incredible stats as a CDM. His goal involvements coming from a CDM spot is amazing. I think Ahmad as well.
What's going on?
Can't go one video without Nick leaving it. Every video.
I'm sorry.
Just God's sake.
He's mentioned Shorty, Shreyas. I'm so sorry. He's mentioned Shorty again, and it's stuck in my head now. I wish I wouldn't have asked, honestly. Oh my God, man.
Some things are best left unsaid.
What? I was going to say, you know what? If I was in like mainstream media, I'd be fucked. I'd be absolutely fucked. I wouldn't be able to do it, honestly.
Sorry, you've got Ethan Laird as well, who's done really well at Bournemouth. He's been really great. Ted Mengi was doing really well at Derby, wasn't he, before they forced him to leave.
Brendan Williams will be coming back.
I don't know.
Williams. I think
he's going to be coming back.
Can we sell him?
Yeah,
But it's not certified because you never know under Ten Hag. You don't know who he wants to work with. So I had Scott McTominay written off when Rangnick came in, and then he ended up being like one of his main players. So you never know. But youngsters, I would say Garner. I would say Ahmad. And
your obsession with Ahmad is getting weird now.
Listen,
it's definitely getting weird.
The guy's going to be a star. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be. He will be a very good player. I promise. Especially under Ten Hag. The way he likes his inverted wingers, close control, composure, work rate off the ball. I don't see why not. So that's why I'll go with him. Another one, what do you expect for next season? Early predictions. I know it's very early. We haven't signed the guys, but it's just a random question. You don't have to answer it seriously. 6th?
Yeah.
Wow. Dan? 4th. Severe.
Don't do it, Severe. Don't do it. Don't you dare.
Bear in mind, this is going to get clipped.
Don't you do it, Severe. Don't you do it.
Yeah. You can just say above or
it's
below.
Coming.
It's difficult. It's difficult.
He's predicting Martial top goal scorer for next season.
It's difficult, yeah. Oh, mate, guy, watch out for Martial. Watch out. Watch
been
my
sick
guy
at Sevilla. He's been killing it at Sevilla.
Watch my guy come, man. They're literally, if they're trying to sell that guy, like they want him gone. Like at Sevilla. Anyway, I've got a lot of faith. I've got a lot of faith for Ten Hag. I think he knows that, how big this job is, and I think he's prepared for it. I'll be bold to say 4th. I'll be very bold and go 4th. Because here's the thing. You don't need to beat Chelsea, you don't need to beat Liverpool, you don't need to beat you need to beat it's the Norwich that once you can beat those teams, that's how you win the league, that's how you qualify for. You're expected to drop points at the top 6. Yeah. Everybody else.
If you get a draw at like Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea,
Stamford Bridge, somewhere like that. Like.
Right. Yeah, that's it. So people think, if you're gonna come in and do a big thing, in the season, you have to come in and beat everyone. Arsenal literally almost made top 4. Literally almost did, but they just it's the stupid games that they lost. The Newcastle's on the
If anybody's counting the Arsenal counter for how many times Severe's mentioned it.
Got him.
Fourth place, man. 4th place.
Yeah, just to touch upon that same point, I think as you mentioned that to get the wins from those teams who are bottom of the table, I think in this particular season, after Arsenal game till the City game, there were around 13 games which were winnable. Like out of 13 games, you can at least win 10 games. So that's where we lost the.
That's where we lost it. That's where I lost. When we lost that Burnley game, when we drew that Burnley game, the game that we lost, two goals were cancelled. Like they cancelled 2 goals. Yeah, that was the game. Because we were playing with, I was like, oh my god, like this is the one that we really, really needed. But anyway, 4th place next season.
Shreyas?
Yeah, just to back Sevilla up on that as well, that if you take out those top 6 fixtures away, we still got 26 games in the bag. And if we are, able to convert even 22 games, I would say, we still got 66 points. And if we pull out a couple of draws, 70 plus points easily, and we're easily into the top 4. So I think top 4 is possible. I think 4th would be much more realistic, considering how other teams are stacking up as well. Because for me, I would say next season, I think the biggest threat could turn out to be Tottenham as well, because the way Conte has actually pulled strings there, and the way they're looking to invest in
he's
this
going to spend money as well.
Who they get in. So, it'd be interesting to see who they get.
Yeah, I think Tottenham are going to be really, really deadly next season. But I still think, I believe I'm with Sever on this one. Arsenal won't be in top 4. We'll be in top 4.
Yeah. I think them playing Thursday nights as well, because obviously this season, you didn't have any sort of European football.
This is like one of the best seasons they've had in however
and
however long. They're playing one game literally every week, and they still couldn't cut it.
Yeah,
exactly. This is the best season.
Another dig there for Arsenal from Sevilla.
This is the best season in the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years, and they still managed to, get 5th position. This is the worst season in the history of the Premier League, and we're 6th. Yeah, and we're 6th. Just just a point before, just a slot before them. So,
Hashtag trust the process.
Trust the process.
yeah.
Hashtag Arteta out.
Yeah. Slow. Look, the one thing I'll say before we go, guys, is slow and steady progress with United. That's just how we're going to have to approach it in a minute. Give the managers time. I want to see an identity back at Old Trafford. I want to see a philosophy of football. Just playing nice football. That's what I want to see. I can't remember the last time I watched the team work cohesively. Like, I cannot remember
watching a game where I wasn't bored out of my mind.
Yeah, exactly. So I think first and foremost, we need to get defensively a lot better. The structure needs to be much better. Free flowing football, bring some fresh faces in, integrate some youth, and take it from there. Thank you for joining me, lads. Go on, Severe.
I said I was going to say one thing before we end. So everything is all being set up now with Ten Hag, and we're going to spend money and all that stuff. But what is our role as fans? Like, now, like, Rangnick is gone, Ole is gone. The fan base, hopefully, is not divided anymore. There's no more Ole. Everyone is on board for Ten Hag. And I think the players, and I know this is going to sound a little bit naive, and please feel free to punch me if I say this, but do you guys think that with everything that we're going through, or everything that was happening, do you think that we should have shown, because I don't think we ever backed our players. I don't think we ever showed any.
Dan's gone.
No, it's because he said if anyone wants to punch me, and then his camera pans.
I'm literally saying myself like right in the middle.
Because if anyone wants to punch me, and then went like that straight.
Oh, guys, seriously, guys. Like,
sorry, go on.
Guys, we didn't back our players. We literally hung them out to dry. We literally, we want everything done now. Go out and play now. Like we never backed our players. To be fair, let's be real here. There was no real support. The only time we did was when Maguire got booed at the England game.
Yeah,
comes to play against Leicester. We supported. Look how good he played that game.
We backed Phil Jones as well, though. When Phil Jones came out, we chanted his name and stuff. Like because he pulled on a shirt, he made an effort.
Do you think
fresh start?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Like we basically it's a fresh, clean slate for everybody.
Please, let's back these guys.
I'm happy to do that. Like if they work hard and they represent,
everybody from Rashford, from everybody, whoever remains, forget what happened last season.
Yeah.
Let's back these guys.
It's a nice message.
Happy to
nice message to end on. Considering it's been a season in review and the season's been abysmal and awful, it's actually not been that bad discussing it. It's had some comical moments and it's been therapy to a certain extent. Thank you for joining me, lads. It's been an absolute pleasure on the big season review. Make sure you hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner of the screen. That's the one. Follow us on social media. Just type in Real Reds Talk and you should be able to find us. And just tune in on our Instagram. Check the schedule out to see what next video is dropping. Loads of content over the summer, and obviously there's going to be shitloads of transfers, and we're going to keep you up to date on it. So unless you've got anything else to say, Sam, Dan, Severe, or Shreyas, I think we're going to get out of here.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Peace. See you later, guys.
Ten Hag's Red Army.
Thank you.